What's up guys, Woody here, back with another Gwent video, and again apologies, this is not another deck video, or this isn't a deck video, but this is another new to Gwent video, as I like to call this kind of mini-series we're doing, or I say mini-series, I kind of want to keep it going. And this one is very much a new to Gwent video, and it's actually inspired by, I suppose a friend of mine who has recently jumped onto Gwent, very recently, as in like 2 days ago, and asking lots and lots of questions, and it kind of made me think, actually, yeah, like I was in a privileged position of knowing CCGs beforehand and knowing kind of, not even the Witcher world knowing much, but playing Gwent before Homecoming and all that. And although you're learning Homecoming from beta all over again, I was still kind of in the position where I had an understanding of Gwent. Jumping into Gwent now, or a CCG, which I've not done for a while, jumping into a new one, especially if you're new to CCGs, is pretty intimidating, actually. And so it kind of inspired me to make a video to go, actually, do you know what? Let's try and take people through where to start in Gwent, and that's exactly what it's doing. I've got 5 tips for you guys today. 5 tips going from the complete, I'm brand spanking new, I've played the tutorial and that is it, to actually then going into some basic gameplay stuff that you probably is going to help you a lot if you know more about it. It took me quite a while to kind of get my head around things. So, without going on tons, I do want to quickly just say thank you to the community, and thank you to everybody who not only watches these videos, because we don't have a huge subscriber account, but I don't care about that. Still, people who watch them seem to enjoy them. So thank you for everybody who watched these videos, and thank you to anybody who's watched or support me over on Twitch. You might see in the top left or right hand corner now of the video. I can't think about how this works or where you're watching it. But yeah, we made Gwent partner. So we are Gwent partner, meaning that now we're working with CDPR. We get behind closed PTR sessions. We get a Discord to share with other content creators, and yeah, it's just nice feeling like your content is going somewhere, and it's nice like that. So yeah, enough going on about that now. Let's actually dive into why you're here. So if you've played Gwent for 100 hours, you're not going to need this video. I mean, please stick around if you want to and criticize my tips by all means, but if you're new to the game, maybe you just jumped in, or maybe you've been playing for a couple of weeks on and off, and you're like, I can't get my head around this game, maybe I'm missing something, then please stick around, because I promise you, I hope you're going to learn something. So we're going to start off with a very, very simple one. You've done the tutorials, you've maybe played 1 or 2 matches, you've got tons, or say tons, you've got quite a few up here, what called reward points. What do you do with your reward points? And this is something that's kind of feed into helping you build that collection. Obviously, anytime you play a CCG, you, as a new player, you're instantly at a disadvantage without dropping obscene money in there by having not a fleshed out catalogue. I mean, you can still see I've got over 500 hours in the game. I've dropped about 50 quid in the game, which isn't tons. And I'm still missing, I think 7 cards overall is what I'm missing from a whole complete collection. Now, they're cards that I've now choosing that I don't want yet because I'm saving up scrap and buying them. But you guys will be in a different position where you may have you might only have the starter deck cards and 1 or 2 cards you've opened from KEGS. So with these reward points, what do you do? Well, the first thing I would recommend is buy ore, basically. Ore will give you kegs, or kegs. So when you go to reward book, let's just jump in here and go on to Amir, or just Nilfgaard in general. When you're on Nilfgaard here, ore will give you, so 100 ore will give you a keg, or there isn't one actually here. When you click on a keg node, you will get given 1, sometimes 2 kegs. That is the best way to build out your collection. Yes, you're not going to get the exact cards you need, but getting scrap early in the game is not easy. It doesn't come. The only reason I get it relatively quick now is because I get a lot of duplicate cards from kegs or anything like that. So the best thing you can do now is just focus on getting ore and kegs. Just get kegs, open kegs, and you're going to get cards. No card is a bad card when you're starting because you don't know what good cards and bad cards are. Yes, the game has cards that are a lot weaker and not as played as much. But if you pack that from a keg, so what? The way Gwent works and the way CDPR support the game is this meta is constantly shifting. For example, a couple of seasons ago, Blue Dream was every deck ran Blue Dream as auto include. No one runs it now. So if you went and craft that card straight away, which is a card that allows you to play a unit from your opponent's graveyard, that card's not dead now. I've seen it every now and then in no unit decks, but I don't see it nearly as much as it used to be. Same as like Unicorn and Cairo. Those are cards that were a huge meta, like they were everywhere, they were auto-include in any deck. CDPR aren't fans of auto-include cards, and chances are that card that's auto-include this season won't be auto-include next season or maybe in 2 seasons' time. So just focus on getting kegs for now. Don't focus on set cards. I want to build this card. I've seen this deck online. I need this card for it. Just get kegs, build out your collection, which then leads into the next point, which is starter decks. Now, obviously, I don't have the starter decks anymore. I deleted them pretty quick. If I'm being honest, the starter decks aren't the strong, aren't that great. But they're starter decks. They're not designed to be that great. You jump into any physical or digital CCG, you don't get the strong. You're not going to get a meta deck as your starting deck. Hell no. Like, that was the fun of that. You need to build your decks and you need to craft them yourself. But what I recommend doing is, especially if you're brand new to CCGs and you've never done deck building, is let's just say, for example, this was the starter deck. What I would do is I would go, okay, do you know what? I've played 10 games of this deck now. I'm not liking this card. This card doesn't suit my style of play. It's worth 7 provisions. It gives 3 power. What does it do? Okay, it moves a card from my deck and puts it to the top. If it's a unit, it boosts by 2. Do I need that in this deck? Maybe not. So I'm going to take that out of this deck. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through, okay, so it's 7p, and I go back to 7p. What can I put in? Don't worry about juggling tons for now. Just change 1 or 2 cards. That's all you have to do. And you'll be able to do that by opening kegs without spending money. Because trust me, you get so many reward points when you're first starting in the game. So then you can go through, what cards have I got? Okay, brilliant. Okay, I've got, do you know what? This Arachas Venom sounds quite good. Damage a unit by 3. If I kill that unit, which is what Death Blow is, then I damage adjacent units by 3. That's worth 9 points. Can I get 3s off? Yeah, I reckon I can get 3 off. I reckon I get 9 points value here. I prefer playing more aggressive. I'm going to put Arachas Venom in over my Albrich, okay? I'm going to quickly make that change again because just I don't want it in there. So Albrich is here. I want to include you in the deck, mate. There you go. So yeah, that's what I'd recommend. That's why opening kegs is good, because you don't know what cards are great, what cards aren't great. And the best way of learning about what cards, not necessarily good or not good, what cards you like playing with, is by sticking them in a deck. So what if they crash? Absolutely so what if they crash. Which goes on to a kind of minor point of me, this isn't an actual tip, is you can't lose ranking Gwent. You climb up to rank 26, and then you lose 20 games in a row. You don't go out of 26. You're locked at 26. When the season resets, you drop down about 4 ranks, and then that's where you go from there. That's how it works. So don't be, especially early in the game when you're not worried about rank, don't be worried about it. Just jump in and have fun. Change 1, change 2. Then you'll be changing 3 cards. All of a sudden, 2-3 weeks in, you'll go, do you know what? I've changed 10 cards in this deck. This isn't even a starter deck anymore. This is my own deck. Brilliant. I've actually made my own deck. Now I'm going to try this with a different faction and a different faction. And that's why just kegs for now is so important, because you just need the cards there. If you're starting to save up for scrap and you're starting to scrap cards, oh, I'm never going to use this card. Fish King, oh, this is just what Albrich does. All of a sudden I realise, actually, I want this, but I want this in Scoia'tael. Albrich is a Nilfgaard card. Ah, damn it. And this is a gold card. And this, I didn't want to put him in there. And this card is going to cost me 200 to craft. Oh, no, I can't have this card now. Don't delete your cards at first. Just open kegs with your reward points by spending it and getting ore. That is, that's a kind of combo tip for tip 1, buy ore and kegs with your reward points. Tip 2 is with the starter decks, just focus on taking 1 card out or 2 cards out, maximum 3 cards out, and build up with the starter decks. Don't just go straight in, build a deck from scratch. Just learn to play by seeing what your opponent plays and see what you play. If your opponent plays a combo against you and you're like, wow, that is me all over it, I love that combo, grab a pen, piece of paper. I have a paper next to me when I'm playing Gwent, and I write things down. I love that combo. I write it down. Next time I'm making a deck, I see if I can include that in, and I've got the provisions to spend on it. Okay? Now, that goes into my third point. See how this is all linking. Is don't get bored in deck builder. Okay? You can almost feel pressured sometimes when you're starting a new CCG to come in here and learn every card. Don't sit in here and go through every card and go, okay, what? So this guy, he returns an allied trap to my hand and then allows me to play a trap. Okay, then what does Vez do? She damages unit by 4. Oh, what's Zil? Oh, don't do that. Don't do that. This is not a book. You're not trying to get good at Gwent overnight. And you're going to burn yourself out if you do that. Please don't do that. By playing 10 matches, you'll start seeing that, especially something like this current season we're in, Season of the Viper, depending on when you're watching this video, you'll go, well, everyone's playing Cleaver. Why is everyone playing this card? Why is this card always being played against me? And I go there and go, damage a unit by 1 for every card in hand. And then I start thinking about it and going, well, actually, even if I don't get my 9 value on it, in terms of I don't get a damage of 6, if I'm clearing an engine that's 4 value, that engine might end up being worth 8 value. So actually, with a body of 3 and the 8 value on the engine, I'm actually getting better value on it. Maybe that's where everyone's playing it. It's good removal. Then I might go, okay, 9. I'm going to click on a deck here, and it's actually in this deck, but go, okay, do I want this from the starter deck? It's a 9. No, I'm going to try Cleaver and put Cleaver in because it's a neutral card that can be played in any deck. So don't get bored. Please do not feel the pressure to sit in Deck Builder going through every card. What does this do? What does this do? What does this do? Oh, I need this. Oh, I need this. Oh, I need it. There's no need to do that. You don't need to do that at all. What you need to do is just play the game. See what people are playing. You'll naturally start finding like regular combos that people are constantly running. And you'll start seeing what cards are very popular. Skellige, like the Savalblod decks that are going around at the moment, are pretty much running the same cards. Just slight tweaks here and there. Play 5 games against those and you'll all of a sudden be able to build a Savalblod deck. You might not have the cards for it, but you'll know what cards go in it. You don't have to know the name. You don't even know their ability. You know what picture they look like. And you slowly start learning the abilities. Again, I'm 500 hours in the game. And I'm still very much, people will say to me in chat, on a stream, I'll put this card in your deck. And I'll be like, is that the one that does this? I pretty much can know which one it is. But I don't know all the cards completely off by heart by their name. I'm still learning myself. So do not get bored in Deck Builder. And don't feel pressurized to sit there. Take the starter decks and slowly build them out into your own deck. That's honestly a really important tip to do. We're now going to go on to some gameplay, and I wish I had actually gameplay to show you guys, but I tried to get gameplay to show you guys, and I found it hard to actually get examples of it. And you may hear, if you watch streams or you read any articles or you hear people talking about Gwent on Discords or on Twitter, you may hear about a term called red and blue. And I'm not talking about Rooster Teeth's Halo series. They are talking about coin flip in Gwent. Now, red and blue is directly referring to the start of a game. Blue means you won coin flip and you're going first. Red means you lost coin flip and you're going second. Now, when I first started playing Gwent, I was pretty new to CCG. I played a lot of physical CCGs. And I was new to Gwent, shall I say, obviously. And going first, I couldn't believe that I got given what was called TA, Tactical Advantage, meaning it's a buff of 5 that can't be removed on the board, and I could put it on any unit I played. I was like, that's crazy. Like, that's crazy that I get 5, like a boost of 5, and I get an extra mulligan. Like, really? Why is it being so kind to me? It's because a lot of decks are a huge disadvantage on blue. And the disadvantage being is you cannot be reactive to the play. Basically meaning, if I play a unit for an engine for 4 power or a body of 4, my opponent has the immediate say of removing that unit. They can react to it. They can lock it, they can remove it, they can move it a row, they can do what they want to that unit. When I play one, I can only attack their one unit. They can then react and do something to my next unit. So being on blue and going first is not always a disadvantage, because some decks do work better going first. But what you should be aiming to do on blue is get tempo. And by tempo, I mean points on the board quickly. Because Gwent, you cannot have more than 10 cards in your hand. So there's no more than 10 turns. Now, you draw 3 cards each turn. Round 2 is pretty much normally a pretty short round, depending on the decks. I won't go into that too much yet. But basically what I'm trying to say is, if you're going first, and then let's say you get to turn 4 cards left in hand each, and then they now are leading you uneven, what will normally happen, let's say you have 4 cards in hand each, they're leading by 6 points, you can't catch them with a card in hand, so you pass, they're going to pass. 99% of the time what they'll do round 2 is they will just pass, meaning you have to play a card. Now, because you won round 2, you then play first card round 3, meaning that you're going down to 8 cards in round 3 when they're in 10. So they always have a 2 card advantage. That's why red and blue is so important in Gwent. Like, it's huge. You need to know when to pass and when to push. Now, if you're being caught on blue, as in you're going first, and you get to 5 cards each left in hand, and you're not confident you can catch them, or you feel like they're going to catch you on 4 cards, just pass. Pass on 5, because it means you'll both draw back up to 8, and then they may push you on 8, but you're not going to be lose card. They can't just pass, because they only draw. You draw still to 10, if that makes sense. You'll play a card, you have 7, you draw to 10 next time, because you draw 3 cards every round. This is probably sounding confusing, and I hope it isn't, but it's something that took me a long time to get my head around, the red and blue. Red is going second. See red as being aggressive, because you can be aggressive when you're second. Blue is going first. Once you get your head around that and the understanding of card advantage, then you'll win a lot more games. Obviously, if you're 10 points ahead, you've played 4 cards, you've got 6 cards left in hand. They've played 3, they've got 7 cards left in hand. They pass. You can theoretically, if you have cards you want to get rid of, you can play down to 4 cards. And then when you draw for round 2, you've got up to 7 cards, and then you could dry pass. Dry pass means you don't play a card, and then you got up to 10 cards. So you can be pushed down to, so say for example, they pass with 6 cards left in their hand, they're 15 points ahead. You can still play 2 cards or 1 card down to 4 cards in hand, and still dry pass round 2 to have even cards round 3. I hope that makes sense. Hopefully you can understand now why having gameplay for that was really quite hard. I really struggled to try and find how to get that into gameplay and talk over it without seeing the gameplay going on. And the last point is actually, I've touched on it, is card advantage. Card advantage in Gwent is huge. It's a massive extra amount of points, because you can't draw above 10. So the way it works is, say round 2, you both throw out. You're both on. One of you's on 6. One of you's on 7 cards. One of you's on. So one's on 8. One's on 9. One of you plays the card, so you go down to 7. The other one plays it, so they go down to 8. The 7 passes. The 8 passes. What used to happen was you would lose that. You'd discard that extra card. But what happens now is, if you have 8 cards in hand, you can't have more than 10 in hand. So you would draw 3, but only 2 would go to your hand, and the other card would go back in your deck, and that draw would go as a mulligan. And you have 2 mulligans every round, so it would give you 3 mulligans going into round 3. Now, the reason card advantage is so big in Gwent is because the way the point system works in it. You can get huge plays with extra card advantage. So that's why when you're on red coin, as in you're going second, if you can smell blood, if you can get a whiff, and you're at 5 cards each, they play a card down to 4, so they've got 4 cards left in hand, you're on 5, and you're thinking, I can catch them. I have the cards in hand here. These aren't like, as long as they're not your round 3 combo cards, and you're not completely blowing your load round 1, go for it. If you catch them and you win it on even, then you can dry pass without playing a card round 2, and all of a sudden, their first play puts them down to 8 cards round 3, you're on 10. Meaning, after they've played all their cards, you can play a card with order and they cannot react to it, and then you can play another card after that. So card advantage is huge, and card advantage comes off knowing about red and blue. You'll naturally learn this with your deck. Some decks, like Philavandrel decks, if you're on red, brilliant, you can push all day long. If you're on blue, you kind of want to get out the round pretty damn early. Like, you kind of get down to, sorry, if you're on blue, you can kind of push. If you're on red, then you want to get out of the round pretty early, and that's a bit of a different one. And there's lots of deck lists for Philavandrel decks. Tool monsters, like for example, tool monsters, they're the ones that have thrive and they get big numbers out very quickly. They start off slow, but they can end up playing a card and 4 other cards pop for points because of thrive. They can be dangerous. Like you can be 15 points ahead on blue, like 4 cards, and then they have 5 cards in hand, and they can catch you. Like they can play a 12 cost card, all the pops, all of a sudden they're a point ahead. You need to you don't need to. You'll slowly learn what decks you play against, and if you're on red or blue, how far you push it. And that, as a beginning player, over cards, over anything like that, is something I would recommend learning before deck building. You want to learn how the game plays, because that, honestly, once I got my head around that and I started thinking tactically about how I approach round 1, round 2, and round 3, I won. My win rate went up probably 100%. Like, I'm not even kidding. It went up so much. And then the deck building will come with it. So that's my 5 tips, guys. That's for people who are completely new to Gwent. Maybe you're completely new to CCGs. If you like the video, then give it a little like, because I love making this content. I like making deck videos. I do have 3 decks I'm currently working on for Crimson Clash this coming weekend. I will share them after the competition for obvious reasons. But I love making these new to Gwent videos. Let us know in the comments below if you like them or if they actually help you. Let us know if you're a new player and if these actually help you, because like I said, I love making them. I sometimes make them. I think, is there a market out there for new players to Gwent? I really hope there is, because this is honestly a brilliant digital CCG, and I love for people to jump in and try it. Once you get your head around the game, it's my favourite card game I've played for a very long time, and I've played quite a lot of card games. But yeah, a quick recap is reward book. Make sure you're spending it on ore or kegs just to build out your collection early on. Obviously that'll change as you go on. Starter decks, just start with the starter decks. Don't worry about building decks, just start with starter decks. Learn to play through just playing, okay? Then as you kind of go on, don't get bogged down in deck builder. Don't learn all the cards. Just swap 1 or 2 cards out at a time in starter decks. So what if it doesn't work? It doesn't matter. You're not going for pro ladder on your second week of playing Gwent. You're trying to learn the game. Have fun. If you're not having fun in the game, why are you playing the game? I know that sounds crazy. If you're playing competitively, that's a little bit different. But if you're new to the game, you should be having fun. Like, not of the one game, but overall, you should be having a good, fun experience. And to do that, just add 1 or 2 cards in. Red and blue, please get your head around that. Red is aggressive, means you can be aggressive and you go second. You can attack what cards they play. Blue, you go first. Get your head around that, you'll win so many more games. And remember, if you are on red and you can smell blood and you think you can get card advantage, there's nothing wrong with going for it. Hey, if it doesn't work, you know that that deck now can't push. Simple as that. You're learning your deck. That's fine, guys. I'm still learning decks. Pumpkin's still learning decks. Like so many pro players or streamers are still learning decks, so don't get that bogged down if you lose games because of a misplay. I still misplay all the time, and I know a lot of people that still misplay, guys. It happens. It's card games. But that's going to wrap it up, guys. Thank you so much for stopping by. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did enjoy the video, then let me know in the comments below, because I'd love to know if you guys do actually get anything out of these. And yeah. Until next time, guys, once again, thanks for stopping by, and I'll be catching you, or catch my stream if you want at the weekend. I'll be streaming Crimson Curse this coming weekend, which is the 15th of May. I'll be streaming my time on Crimson Curse. It will be delayed stream, but stop by if you want to, and we'll give that a go. Until next time, guys, thank you so much for stopping by. Thank you so much for watching the video, and until next video, which is going to be a Nilfgaard based one, have a great time, have fun, enjoy Gwent, goodbye.